Hello students, welcome to ShirtBack Academy. In our lesson today we're going to be covering section 4.2 in the ITF Plus course. The topic for this lesson is organization and logic. Let's begin. Organization is the structured ordering of programming code into readable instructions. Various language types will have different methods of structuring their code. One example are markup languages that use tags. Program logic is the arrangement of the coding instructions into a prescribed order. Selection is moving to different parts of the program based on the results of executing our coding instructions. When we run programs, we will commonly use iteration. Iteration is the repeating of coding instructions for a specific time length or numerical count. For example, we may run our code for 1 minute or 10 times. Before we learn formal programming languages, it's helpful to learn pseudocode. Pseudocode is an informal language that we use to learn how to structure and outline computer code. We also use pseudocode to learn how to use programming instructions. It's designed as a text-based organizational tool. Over here to the right, we have an example of what a pseudocode outline might look like. We start with a program. We ask a user to enter two numbers, A and B. Our program adds the numbers together, prints a sum, and ends the program. Pseudocode allows us to outline the steps we're going to want for our program code. Indenting is when we define any loops or conditionals. When we do this within program code, we indent them just like we would do a paragraph. Pseudocode does not require the use of formal syntax and punctuation in its structure. However, it is helpful to learn common practices such as indenting. Flowcharts are graphical representations of algorithms. We use them to solve problems within computer code. Algorithms are the rule sets that we use to calculate and solve our problem operations. There are several common flowchart symbols. Over here to the right in our screenshot, we have a sample flowchart. Terminal uses the oval symbol. This indicates the start and stop of your algorithm and program. Input-output will use parallelograms. Parallelograms are these slanted rectangles. These are the parts of the process where the user will input data or we will display screen output. Decisions will use the diamond symbol. This is when our program will go through our coding processes and produce an operational output. We also commonly use flow lines. These help to indicate the sequence and code flow control of the different steps of the process. Sequence is one of the three basic logic structures. The other two are selection and looping. Sequence is the main logical structure in computer programs. Sequence is a coding structure where each action will lead to the next in a predetermined order. The programming code may contain any number of actions, but each instruction must run in the sequence order within the program. Sequencing requires no coding instructions to be skipped within the program. Any modifications may break the processing within it. Selection is another of the three basic logic structures. It is the logic structure that asks a question within a program. Selection logic will offer multiple choice options when a question is asked within a program. The program will process the answer and move to the next event. In selection, we use if, then, else. This is a coding structure that will direct our program. For example, if condition A is true, then we must perform action 1. Else, we would do action 2. Over here in the screenshot to the right, we see a sample selection logic structure. The multiple choice is here in the middle where it says before 7 a.m. From there, we can see our code goes 2 different ways depending on the answer to the input question. The final basic logic structure is loops. Loops is a logic structure that will repeat a question within a program until satisfied. Each time we go through a programming loop, it's called an iteration. Iteration amounts are determined by the inputted user data in the program. 3 common looping types to be familiar with are for loops, do-while loops, and repeat loops. A for loop will use a counter to track the iterations of the loop. A do-while loop will iterate until a condition is absent. And repeat loops continue as long as a condition is true. Nested loops are coding loops inside another loop. In coding programs, you can identify them because they are indented. That will conclude this lesson. In our next lesson, we will cover section 4.3, Programming Concepts. If you have any questions about the contents of this lesson, please review the course notes and exam objectives for section 4.2. We thank you for following along. We'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.